trees, checking pants, checking seeds, sipping herbal tea and fight for menstrual equity. Hey, I kick Cramps ass. Kick Cramps ass. Kick Cramps, kick Cramps. Kick Cramps, kick Cramps, kick Cramps, kick Cramps, kick Cramps, kick Cramps, kick Cramps. You're now tuned in to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast with your host, Brittany Walker, advocating for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness. New episodes on Menstruation Mondays.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast, where I am your host, Brittany Walker. And this podcast is not just a book. It's not just an organization, but we are really going to be dismantling the taboo subject of menstruation. For some reason, even though menstruation has been around forever and it's needed in order for us to even procreate or to even sustain as those who do menstruate, people have a really tough time talking about this subject. So this podcast is going to talk about all the things that people do not want to talk about and give you so many different tools and resources that's going to be beneficial for you to have a more healthier menstruation journey. So I definitely want to tell you all about what Kick Cramps has to offer, give you some insight, and we're going to definitely go ahead and get started with today's episode. So Kick Cramps Ass, guys, it is an actual book that I created. It is NNG's formula to kick cramps ass. It is a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps. I was able to get rid of my menstrual cramps by following this formula. It's a holistic approach to life. It takes time, it takes patience, but it's well worth it. So this entire first season, we're going to be dismantling and breaking down this book chapter for chapter, and I'm going to be giving you all the things that you need to make your period process more sustainable. So again, guys, Kick Cramps Ass is now an LLC. We are an organization that's delivering service, education, and healing for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness for individuals who menstruate and their loved ones. Most people think, okay, it's the women that are menstruating. We even have our trans men that menstruate. But let's talk about the actual supporters of these people. Maybe your husband, your brother, your neighbor, your coworker. We want to teach everybody about menstruation and how it can really help if we all come together and we really know the knowledge of what the process is and things that we can do to make the process easier. Okay, guys? We also provide services, products, and resources that will be benefiting and improving your menstrual cycle experience. So, do you think that menstruation is a taboo conversation? We're going to dismantle that and do what is necessary to achieve optimal wellness. Now, most people think optimal health or wellness means just your physical state, but it's also your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual as well. So, to give you a little background history about myself, I am a plant based nutritionist, a former biology professor, and a former chef. I also sit on the the executive board of directors for the Sober Black Girl Club, and that is combating alcohol awareness. I am a recovering addict and a recovering alcoholic. I took my last sip of alcohol on June 27th, 2020. So this year will make 3 years. And then a former drug addict, cocaine, ecstasy, a lot of harmful chemical party drugs that just wasn't conducive to my system. Also promethazine, Xanax, a lot. So I've been through a lot. I've overcome a lot. So I have a lot of great resources and information to help you all better achieve optimal wellness. I'm also a wellness blogger for Spoken Black Girl, an online publication, and I also host Amplified Black Lit, which is a book club located in Las Vegas at the only Black bookstore, Analog Dope. And so we meet every last Saturday of each month. All right. So a little bit about my history. I was able to lose 80 plus pounds holistically and reverse 10 chronic illnesses, including type 2 diabetes, bipolar 2 disorder, irritable bowel syndrome, which is IBS, but also ovarian cystitis. I used to get cysts on my ovaries all the time. Dysmenorrhea, which is heavy menstrual cramps, menorrhagia, which is heavy blood flow. And I was able to reverse that along with like bronchitis. I used to have allergies really bad, and so on and so forth. I have viral meningitis, and all of those things again were reversible based off of different lifestyle changes I made. It took me shifting my mind and changing my mind and being open to real techniques that I have worked for centuries and centuries within my culture. So a lot of herbalism, a lot of holistic approaches, a lot of vegetables, grains, seeded fruits that you can actually grow out the ground and not man-made, avoiding a lot of chemicals and GMOs and toxins through the toiletries that I use, my face products, my moisturizers, the toilet paper that I use, the deodorant, toothpaste. So many different things come into play that actually add to the chronic illnesses that are developing within the world, but primarily in the United States because of the unhealthy choices that we make. So once we know better, we do better. So we're also, again, going to be talking about the introduction to the book today. This is not a very long book at all, guys. It is like 113 pages, but each chapter is just a couple of pages long. It doesn't take long to read. It's only one or two chapters that are pretty lengthy, and those episodes I will give those disclaimers and those warnings. So look at this. It's like an audio book mixed with the workshop, mixed with some real life advice coming from a health practitioner. And we will be having new episodes every Monday for Menstruation Mondays. So let's go ahead and deep dive. So May is very important. It's May 1st, 2023. May is actually menstruation month. Period poverty week is May 22nd through May 28th. And menstrual hygiene day is actually May 28th. If you're located in the Las Vegas area, we will be hosting a workshop on Saturday, May 28th at Queendom Cultivation. You'll be able to go to our website at kickcrampsass.org to register for this event. And we'll be actually doing the Kick Cramps Ass workshop in person. We're going to have some really great refreshments that you can try. We're going to have our products and services available for samples. We're going to be doing giveaways. It's an amazing event. Also on Saturday, May 13th, if you're located in the Los Angeles area, we will be at the LA School of Comedy as a vendor and a workshop facilitator for Dignified Menstruation's event. We're going to be celebrating menstruation again for May, which is menstruation month. We have so many opportunities, so many things going on. Even this upcoming Friday, if you're located in the Las Vegas, Nevada area, we mentioned Analog Dope, who we do our book club with, but they are actually hosting their 1 year anniversary event. That's also considered their first Fridays. Every first Friday, they have an event where they host a community event where you can come out and support small Black-owned businesses. And but this Friday happens to be their anniversary, so I will be out vending in honor of their anniversary and for menstruation month. All right, guys, so let's definitely go ahead and get started with today's episode. So I always like to kick off every episode before we get into the good details after the introduction and everything is the I Am series. I Am is an acronym for inspiration, affirmations, and manifestations. So for today, it's going to be I am embracing the knowledge and various techniques in order to achieve optimal wellness. Ashe. All right, guys. So I also like to give books and resources and podcasts and all these different opportunities, medical journals and things that you can look into to so you could better learn for yourself and research for yourself, because knowledge is power. Reading, just everything that you see on social media or on the internet is not always true, but going to reputable resources and legitimate resources will help you better achieve this menstruation journey. So the book for today, again, is going to be the NNG's formula to kick cramps ass. But throughout the entire season, I'm going to give you a plethora. As you can see, I have a shelf full of different books. So different holistic techniques, herbal techniques, and things that you can try that's going to be really beneficial and essential to improving your menstruation journey. All right. I'm also going to be drinking tea throughout every episode. As you can see, I have my cup Kick Cramps Ass, and we have our Chrysocolla tea diffuser, which is something that we have for sale, and you'll be able to also find at any event that we're at, and it will be uploaded to our website as well. But Chrysocolla is really good for grounding and blood flow and keeping your PMS symptoms under wrap, helping you keep your mood stabilized. So that's a good thing. And then the actual tea that we're drinking is our own Cramp Elixir. It's our herbal tea blend that you can drink every single day, really, but definitely 2 to 3 days leading up to your cycle, giving your body 2 days to digest and absorb the nutrients from the herbs, but also throughout your cycle. But again, I like to drink it daily just so I can stay on top of my womb health. And inside of this tea, we have so many great herbs. And again, we're going to be talking about it throughout the season, and it's located in the book. But we have motherworth, mugwort, nettles, hibiscus, red raspberry leaf, ashwagandha, vervain, calendula, ginger, cinnamon, turmeric, which are my three besties. I'm always going to talk about those spices, and you'll learn more as we go on. But so many great herbs in this mix that's going to be beneficial for you. Chast tree, I forgot to mention that. That's going to be so beneficial for womb healing and helping with inflammation and your flow and just maintaining a really great health when it comes to your womb, avoiding fibroids, improving infertility, things of that sort, helping decrease symptoms with your endometriosis, PCOS. We're going to get all into it, guys. So again, our Cramp Elixir, and that's already available on our website. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and take a little sip. So good. And then let's go ahead and definitely get started. So I'm going to read actually the back of the book. I'm just going to give this little paragraph right here, but it's to all of our women out there that menstruate. And actually, I'm updating that because I am going to be coming out with a volume soon, learning so much information since I've done this book. Just FYI, this is a case study that was done for several years, 5+ years, and trying to figure out my entire process on how I can get rid of menstrual cramps. It started with me going plant-based for a life event that I just wanted to lose weight for. But once I lost a significant amount of weight, I started noticing that some of my actual health issues were reversing, and it made me want to learn more. I ended up going to school and changing from getting an MBA to getting my Master of Science in Nutrition Education, and worked under a holistic doctor and trained myself as well along the way, and just learned all these different techniques that you can do that's going to better help serve you. So I apologize for just saying women, because now I am advocating for everything, because I do advocate for the underrepresented. That is people of color, because I am one, women, because I am one, LGBTQ plus, because I am one, veterans, because I am married to one and my family is surrounded by them, and individuals with disabilities, because I used to be a person with one before reversing them, but I have a dear heart and empathy for those who do suffer from disabilities, and I want to help you combat those. So to all those who menstruate, who else is tired of the shit that menstruation puts us through? Excruciating pains, heavy bleeding, uterine health conditions, and PMS symptoms present themselves throughout the majority of our lives. Month after month of no symptoms with jaunting days would almost be too much like perfect or an unattainable dream. Manifest thoroughly enough and you shall receive. We are here to serve you with a formula that may decrease or eliminate your menstrual cramps if followed precisely. So let New Nation Goddess, which is the acronym, or which is the full name for the acronym NNG, demonstrate how to kick cramps ass. So I am also New Nation Goddess. I have other podcasts and other businesses under that name. But yes, guys, we are going to be dismantling again this subject. Now, for those of you who are watching on Spotify or YouTube, you can see the full video, so you're able to see everything that I'm talking about. But for those of you who are on maybe Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or even Anchor, I am going to be putting the information in the description of everything that I talked about today, links to everything, coupon codes, all the nine, all everything. So don't worry if you're not watching the video. Now, again, guys, this is just not for those who menstruate. These are for those who love the women in their life, their moms, their sisters, their significant others, again, their neighbors, their best friends, their coworkers. But the dedication, I'm definitely going to read to you guys. As you can see, if you're on video, I'm holding it up to the screen. But dedication is to all of those who menstruate that are tired of the shit that menstruation puts us through. This one is for you, goddess or God. To the God supporting the women in their lives, their lovers, mothers, sisters, or daughters. We appreciate you for taking time to educate yourself to help heal us. When you know better, you do better. When you know, okay, it's that time of the month. Do you want me to brew your tea? Do you want me to run your bath water? Do I need to run to the store and pick you up some more holistic, organic, non-toxic pads or menstrual hygiene products? Do you want me to go fix your food for you? Do you want me to leave you alone? Do you want me to turn the heat on or your heating pad? Just being mindful of those times and the things that will help us is going to go a long way, fellas. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with reading the introduction. It's multiple chapters, about 17 chapters here, but also with a quote I definitely want to lead into. There's multiple quotes throughout this book. There's multiple references throughout this book. Even though I am coming from a scientist standpoint, I still want to be human with you. So you're going to get spiritual Brittany. I am from Texas with Louisiana and Mississippi descent. So you're going to get that Southern hospitality thrown in the mix. There's going to be some lingo I'm going to have to explain, but I also came from it from an educational standpoint and a scientific standpoint as well. So it's a mix of everything. And I just want to teach you and break everything down. So I have a quote that I like to go and tell everybody. Anytime I see somebody, they ask me, how's my journey and what did I do? So I let them know what you put in and or on your body determines the real path to the fountain of youth. There's so many people, guys, that's living to 80, 90, and 100 years old. They're still driving, that can still see, that can still walk without any assistance, with no diagnosis. And it's because they are very mindful of what they're putting in and on their body. Also, their mental and emotional states, the stress and the anxiety you take on, the things that you don't want to take on, the things that you don't allow to take control of your life, knowing that you have control of your life, knowing that you can control the fear in your life as well, because fear is something that you make. So just knowing those things can really help life longevity. All right. So going into the introduction, I am going to circle back around because a foreword was written in the book. It was written by a now veteran who is a former staff sergeant in the United States Army. So I am going to tap on the foreword. One day I might even bring that person on the podcast and have them read the foreword themselves. So starting with the introduction, let me remove my bookmark. Also, if you are seeing the video, I have crystal garnet bookmarks because garnet is a wonderful crystal for grounding your root chakra, which is around the actual area where your uterus is, and then is helping with grounding, again, with blood flow. It helps with stabilizing your mood, and it helps with inflammation as well. So important why I brought those crystals, chrysocolla and garnet, into the mix. Now, with the introduction, we have starting video. Again, for those who can see, I normally have a quote or a reference from other scientists and other people who have studied this subject before I go into my own information. So this one says menstrual pain was reported by 84.1% of women, with 43.1% reporting that pain occurred during every period and 41% reporting that pain occurred during some periods. And that was by Grandi G, their team, back in 2012. Again, guys, 84.1% of women said that they have menstrual pain. And 43% says every single period. So let's go ahead and dismantle that. If you have not heard it yet, your womb is divine. You must treat it with an abundance of care. That's what makes you powerful. It is the most sacred space you possess. It is up to you, goddess, to nurture your womb and protect it from factors that will slowly destroy the essential part of a woman's health. Once you can grasp this concept, then you are on the golden route to achieving optimal health. I could hear the harps playing and the angels singing, because at that very moment, I discovered what causes a cramp-free body. After suffering from a strenuous history of menstrual cycles, this has been one of my greatest accomplishments thus far. Years of detailed case studies, research, and analytics has led to the formula that relieves pain and inflammation for what some call code red, death to dysmenorrhea. It is considered taboo to discuss our menstrual cycles at any age as a woman in our culture, but we are here to bust the gates wide open with normalizing the necessary discussions. Just to think, where would we all, my apologies, just to think where we all would be if we had a blueprint on how to conquer dealing with this monthly madness labeled as menstruation. Not like the current average age of starting a menstrual cycle at 12 years old in the 1990s, reportedly. I was 1 month away from turning 15 years old when my cycle started during my fifth period class of my freshman year of high school. After a traumatic sexual encounter, I started my first period within 24 hours and assumed the pain was from the incident. As the women in my family called it, I encountered the hereditary curse, in my quotation mark fingers, of the menstrual cycle. I distinctly remembered my tea lady, here comes the Southern slang, top lady, aka also known as your mother in the state of Texas, is something that we say. I distinctly remember my tea lady being out of town, and my brother, who was a freshman in college, walked to my best friend's house to get me some pads because he did not want to walk around the store with feminine hygiene products. I never understood that about young men because you cannot use any of the products. That helped for a bit, but being the daddy's girl that I am, I called Papa Bear before he was heading home from work. He literally walked in the house with several Walmart bags full of pads, tampons, panty liners, and crepe medication with ibuprofen only. I'm allergic to acetaminophen, and the stronger pain relievers are acetaminophen based. Pain medications and heating pads were the answer for the next few years. At 21, my OBGYN introduced the idea of birth control in order to, again, quotation mark fingers, regulate my cycle. I tried a few different forms of birth control and various doses because I kept experiencing adverse reactions, which added to the already heavy PMS symptoms. Throughout my 20s, I was diagnosed with various illnesses associated with both my physical and mental health. This led to being prescribed multiple medications, all within a small time frame. In addition, I was in my young rebellious stage, so I was engaging in a lifestyle that was unhealthy and causing unbalanced chemical reactions. At this point, I could not keep up with my cycle, as some months it would be 1 week, others it would be 14 days. While I may have cramped heavily for 5 days consecutively 1 month with a light flow, the following month I would cramp heavily for 3 days with an extremely heavy flow. It was torture, and I began to dread each month because I had absolutely no control over my menstruation. Without having a synchronized schedule, I was not provided a warning when my cycle was starting, which also became frustrating. In 2011, I stopped taking birth control because I read an article about how there may have been an association with having trouble getting pregnant once you were ready to conceive with specific brands. Why is birth control, which has the potential to lead to infertility, be the only recommendation? Researching this information in detail gave me vibes from when my ancestors were experimented on during slavery or the Tuskegee study. Feels like population control, but that is a different story. We will talk about that in more details, guys. A Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. That's a reference to write down. Back to reading. Eliminating birth control aided in easing some of my PMS symptoms, such as having a more consistent cycle of only 5 to 7 days each month and only cramping during the first 3 days. However, the pain and the flow were still hindering my day-to-day activities. I would plan my PTO, pay time off, around my cycle so that I could have the first 2 days to hibernate on the heating pad, take meds, and bundled up. Being allergic to acetaminophen did not leave many over-the-counter options that were strong enough to handle my tolerance. So the prescribed medication, 800 to 1,000 milligrams, kept me lackadaisical. Therefore, I preferred not to work during these times. This went on for 6 years. A major life event was scheduled for the end of 2017, which led me to dropping some pounds. During the past few years, I gained an excessive amount of weight and was attempting different workout plans in order to meet my desired goal. I could not seem to gain any progress by losing 10 pounds here and there and then gaining it back instantly. 88 days before the event, What the Health on Netflix was recommended to me to gain some additional knowledge on different lifestyles. After the credits came to an end, I was flabbergasted, mouth wide open, and completely baffled at what I realistically had been consuming my entire life. That was August 13th, 2017, and my life changed forever as I transitioned to a vegan lifestyle, cold turkey. I immediately threw everything away in my refrigerator and pantry that was not made from plants. The scientist in me began to record the various changes that I was making. In September 2017, I stopped taking medication for cramps and inflammation. Over the next year, I noticed drastic transformations with the lifestyle adjustments that had been made. I knew that I was onto something life-changing, not only for myself, but other women who suffer from the same symptoms. I also returned to school and graduated with a Master of Science in Nutrition and Education. By July 2019, I had experimented with different techniques consisting notating and abiding by the factors that showcase significant improvements. Although I was 80% sure of how to eliminate menstrual cramps and decrease PMS symptoms, I would still fluctuate months where I would cramp for 1 or 2 days, or I could not control my temperature, which led to excruciating convulsions. I had come this far and refused to give up on what truly can cause the body to get rid of these tiresome pains. Some of my favorite resources during this period were African Holistic Health by Llaila Afrika and Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity, and Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. I'm going to pause with reading because I actually have both of those books, all 3 of those books. As you can see, if you have the video, I'm showing the picture. If you're not on video, I am going to put those inside of the description of this episode. That's the second book, and then this is the third option. So again, guys, I'm going to list those out in the description of the bio for those of you who are not watching the video and just didn't see the cover of the books. Back to reading. The techniques presented in each literature further confirmed multiple hypotheses I had formulated. Many holistic methodologies led to not only reversing cramps, but also preventing and eliminating other uterine health diagnoses, including PMS symptoms, endometriosis, fibroids, polycystic ovary syndrome, ovary syndrome, PCOS, and infertility. I decided to go on an alcohol cleanse and engage in a fitness challenge for 30 days. Although I had worked out since transitioning my diet, it was never a consistent routine that lasted longer than a 2-week period. I extended the alcohol cleanse to 52 days, then after a 2-week period, eliminated alcohol from my diet completely. As for physical activity, I worked my way up to exercising Monday through Friday at a minimum of 40 minutes per day. So update, I now work out 6 days a week, about 60 to 75 minutes per day. But again, this book was written almost 2 years ago. Progress, again, it takes time, guys. Back to reading. Then I incorporated additional changes to my nutrition, such as sea moss and decreasing junk vegan food, and with plant-based items as a replacement. Pausing on reading. Most people don't realize there's a difference between vegan and plant-based. There is. Vegan food, you still eat a lot of soy, fried foods, regular sugar, regular flour, a lot of things that still contribute to illnesses, whether we want to believe it or not. But a plant-based diet is focusing on the plants themselves, everything that's growing directly from the ground, lentils, beans, seeded fruits, things of that sort. Nothing that's man-made or that can be made in a lab or doesn't come directly from the ground is not, I'm sorry, that doesn't come directly from the ground is considered not plant-based. But if it does come directly from the ground and you can grow it yourself without the need of chemicals or scientific techniques that causes you to alter it in any way, then that is considered plant-based. So reading back to it, last paragraph. After a couple of months of the new changes, my cramps diminished. Ecstatic was an understatement. Before I shared my remedies and tips, I wanted to ensure this was a solid algorithm. I evaluated a significant amount of data over the next 1.5 years throughout this 5-year experiment and still produced the same results. At that point, I knew it was time to share how others could kick cramps ass. So let's get into this kick ass formula. And that's the way that the introduction ends. So again, guys, just gave you a brief synopsis of experiences and what happened. Definitely throughout the season, we're going to be deep diving each chapter into more and more details. I'm going to be giving you more and more book resources and giving you the products and the things that I did that really helped me to get rid of menstrual cramps. So to recap, we talked again about the introduction. We let you know who Brittany Walker was, my history, why this knowledge is going to be beneficial for you, talked about events that we have coming up, and tackled into the introduction of this book. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to comment to these episodes on the platform that you are listening on. You can also follow us on Instagram at Kick Cramps Ass. You have the option to go into the link in the bio where you will have access to our website. You can also sign up to subscribe to keep up with the latest news, resources, and events that we have going on, any sales that we may be having going on. If you may subscribe, you might get a discount code. You also have loyalty points that you can accumulate over the products and services that you do use with us. All right, guys. I want to shout out for my shirt. It has different crystals listed: amethyst, black tourmaline, keeps going, clear quartz, citrine, rose quartz. Shout out to Queendom Cultivation. I mentioned them earlier, where I'll be having the first in-person Kick Cramps Ass workshop in full on Sunday, May 28th for Menstrual Hygiene Day here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can also go to the link in our bio on Instagram and shop with our partners. So if you go to our Queendom Cultivation section, if you go through that special link, it will give you a discount code for the first time you shop with them. They're open Tuesdays through Sundays, but they are closed on Mondays. But on Mondays, they do a big online sale every single Monday. So be sure to check them out as well. Again, if you have questions, concerns, you want to send us some listener mail, we will answer questions as we go. So again, you can reach us at Instagram at KickCrampsAss. You can go to our website at kickcrampsass.org. You can contact us via email as well at contact@kickcrampsass.org. On our website, if you want to have menstrual therapy, that's one of the services we offer. We give menstrual and nutrition therapy for you. You can sign up for a free consultation. We can sit down with you for about an hour, talk through what you may be experiencing, and then come up with some options for you right there on the phone. And then you have the option to move forward and go into an actual plan to help you reverse or eliminate common menstruation and uterine health issues. We're here to heal the wound, guys. Okay, so be sure to like our podcast. Talk about subscribing to our website. If you're on YouTube and watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like the videos, to subscribe to us on YouTube. We want to send a big shout out to J Jig Cicero for our banging intro for this podcast. Closing remarks, guys. We just want to send gratitude to you all for tuning in. Be sure to keep up with us. We are newly launched, but we want to make sure, even though the book is it'll be 1 year that the book has been available for pre-sale on May 4th. On May 5th, which is actually the 1 year anniversary for Analog Dope. So that's a 1 year circle for us as well. So many vibes going on. But May 4th actually makes Black Author Day, so I want to shout out for ebook reference. But yeah, 1 year, June 6th, the actual paper copy, but the book has been written for over a couple years, so we will be coming up with different volumes as the years goes on, as we accumulate more knowledge, accumulate more analytics and resources for you. Again, gratitude for checking in, and we want to manifest that you have a positive, productive, and peaceful menstruation journey ahead and a beautiful day ahead. We'll be talking to you guys next Menstruation Monday. Peace.